afternoon everyone, and thank you for joining us for the very first edition of Griffith Uni News for 2012. My name is Cherie and I'll be your host today. It's with great pleasure I'll introduce you to my panel today. On my right I have Kat and Ruben, and to my left we have Justin and Stephanie. How's it going today, guys?
Good.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Good to be here.
Good. Okay, today we're going to give our opinion as uni students on the issues that are hot topics in the news today. But first we'll take a quick look at what's happening around the country. Lisa has the latest news headlines.
Thanks for that, guys. The body of a 59-year-old tourist has been found after a massive search on the Gold Coast. The man was swimming at Surfers Paradise with a group when he disappeared in a rip shortly after 5 p.m. Off-duty lifeguards located the body of the man 2 hours after he went missing. The man was believed to be holidaying here from Malaysia. Police and forensic investigators are at the scene of a suspected homicide in Brisbane this morning. The body of a man aged 45 was found inside his Maruka apartment by family members. Police have said they have no leads on a suspect. They are calling on any residents that may be able to help with inquiries to come forward. Another case of internet abuse has prompted fresh debate about possible new laws making it harder to post anonymously online. New South Wales Premier Barry O'Farrell says he'll ask the federal police to investigate after rugby league star Robbie Farah was subjected to vile abuse on Twitter. Farah, whose mum died in June, was targeted by an internet troll who posted a disturbingly sexually explicit tweet about his mother. And turning to some lighter news, forget the party rockers and Call Me Maybe, get ready for Gangnam Style. This surprise Korean crossover pop hit is the music sensation of the moment. South Korean singer PSY has racked up nearly 48 million YouTube streams and attracted the attention of some of Hollywood's biggest stars. He said his goal was to look uncool and never imagined that horsing around would be so popular. Well, that's the latest for the news, and now back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for that, Lisa. We saw in that bulletin the tragic news of yet another drowning at Surfers Paradise. This has prompted calls for lifeguard patrols outside normal times, like on dusk. Now, the Gold Coast City Council already has dawn patrols from 5:30 to 8:30 a.m. What do we think about this, guys? Is there need for more patrols, or is that enough?
I definitely think the dawn patrols do a great job. They get the people off the beach once they're drunk at the night time, and they just clean it up. They set the tone for the day pretty much. Having patrols after hours when it's night is just, I don't know, I just can't see that as viable. Like, we already have a massive strain on our lifeguards already. Why would they have to do extra shifts just to get people out when all we need is education signage?
But if it saves lives, do we think it's money well spent? A few extra dollars on lifeguard patrols to save, how much is a life worth?
How far can we go though? I mean, we can't patrol the beaches 24/7. It cannot be all the time. Maybe the answer is more awareness and getting a message out to the people that are being affected. I don't know how you do that. Perhaps through, we have to find the places that these people are coming in and direct the message there.
Well, I mean, for instance, like Virgin's leading the way with the airlines at the moment. Earlier this year, they brought in an actual safety video to show international people coming over.
Airlines,
Considering there's 12,000 rescues on our beaches every summer. I mean,
12,000. That's a staggering number, isn't it?
Yeah, well, just on a slightly different note, what about personal responsibility? I think these people need to take responsibility for their actions a bit more. Obviously, they can learn how to swim for one, or they could also educate themselves before they come to a new country. I think that's a pretty important thing. If I was going overseas, I'd want to educate myself on dangers and the risks involved in travelling. So that's something that I think these people need to do more of, perhaps.
Yeah,
Definitely.
On that note, I will mention that this guy was part of a tour group. So maybe he put trust in his tour guide, who let them swim after hours, which is a bit odd. And back in February, there was a teenager who was also part of a group. He was a school student, exchange student, who drowned. Should there be some responsibility on the tour groups, maybe?
Most definitely. I definitely do think, though, that it comes down to education. Like, our kids, we're educated from young. We will know not to go out at the beach at night. We'll know not to go out when it looks rough. These people, they come over to Australia, they see the beach, they see the beautiful pictures, it's like pristine and clear, everything. They don't realise how rough and how dangerous it can be. That guy got sucked out within 30 seconds.
It does happen so
And
quick.
we know this, but like, I think definitely we just need more education.
Well, what you've got to remember, obviously, these tourists are coming from areas where there are no beaches. So this is something completely different to them. So whether it be bilingual signs that we need out there, or sorry, multilingual signs with different languages warning people that there is a great risk associated with swimming in Australian beaches. It's not entirely safe.
Yeah, it's definitely a sad story, and in any case, a loss of life is not a good one. So let's hope we don't see any drownings, hey, over the summer. Okay, in other news, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with the latest in sport.
If there's a change you'd like to see in yourself or in the world, it can happen at Griffith University. We've got over 300 degrees to help you make your first move after school or advance your career and play your part in the world. Griffith University, your world changes here.
And we're back. Thank you for staying tuned to Griffith Uni News. Now for the latest sports news, Lauren has the headlines.
Thanks, Cherie. Here's what's making today's sporting headlines. The AFL's worst kept secret was confirmed this morning with Carlton Football Club announcing Mick Malthouse as its new coach. Malthouse signed a 3-year deal with the club and says he feels a great sense of honour to be given the opportunity. And in sad news for the AFL community, the coroner has confirmed Port Adelaide player John McCarthy fell 9 metres from the roof of the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas early Sunday. Security footage shows McCarthy walking into the hotel and standing on the casino roof moments before the tragedy. To cricket now, and Australia will head to Sri Lanka for the 2020 World Cup with a much needed confidence boost after bowling Pakistan out for their lowest ever total in 74 in the Dubai series. Quick's Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc took 3 wickets each, while Dave Warner and Shane Watson scored a record opening stand of 111 runs in a total of 7 for 168. Now to other sports. Andy Murray has defeated Novak Djokovic and broken his Grand Slam title drought in a rollercoaster US Open final. Murray jumped to a 2-set lead before watching it wither away, only to turn up the heat again in the 5th set. And in local sport, the Burleigh Bears snatched a 1-point victory over the Tugun Seahawks in the Bycroft Cup Grand Final. Back to you guys.
Now, as Lauren mentioned, if anyone's been on the internet, turned on a TV or listened to the radio in the last 24 hours, you would have heard about the death of 22-year-old Port Adelaide AFL star John McCarthy. He fell to his death at the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas, and details how it happened will not be known for some time. This just seems like another waste of young life, and it happened on one of those boozy end-of-season football trips where they go to let their hair down. Guys, does anyone know about these football trips? Have you played them? I'm sure you know someone who has.
Well, I just had my end-of-season trip on the weekend, and we represent our club. I play for Surfers Paradise Football, and we wear our team shirts. We make sure to carry ourselves well. We don't get into fights. We do get drunk. We do love to get on it. We're football players. Yeah. But we just know how to carry ourselves. These AFL players and the big-time footballers, you always see them out in the public eye. They need to know how to carry themselves and be a bit more respectful. Definitely, they're allowed to go have an end of season. I think it's an integral part of sport. The boys hanging out, why not? But they need to take it to a lower level.
Do the clubs need to organise it though? Like, what if we took it away from the AFL clubs, so then we don't have the whole role model side of thing, reflection on the clubs, and the players just organise it themselves?
That's a good idea. Distancing themselves from the club, so it's not the club and the sport essentially that are being represented. I think there are great issues of alcohol and drugs, be they prescription drug abuse as well. But you know, if you're playing a sport where you are drug tested and then they go away and they seem to forget about all the testing, whether they're not tested out of season, maybe that's something we need to look at to
Yeah, while you're contracted to a football club, yeah, you should be representing their club whether you're on the field, off the field.
Yeah, well, on that note, Essendon has already cancelled its scheduled inter-season trip to Las Vegas. It's confirmed that its players will be going elsewhere now, so maybe that's something that's they're considering at the moment is actually, stopping that from happening.
Yeah, it's definitely not
a huge club.
Yeah, it's definitely not the first time that something's happened in the AFL in Las Vegas. I know there was it a guy jailed?
It was one dead, one unconscious, and one jailed, and that's all in the past few years. So we've got John McCarthy, who just fell from his hotel, and also former West Coast Eagle Chad Fletcher stopped breathing after reportedly choking. He was revived, and then there was ex-North Melbourne captain Wayne Carey, and he was involved in a violent domestic incident, and he was jailed there. So it definitely seems like there's a pattern happening with AFL players, and it really seems like it needs to be an issue that should be addressed.
Yeah, well, it's definitely something that AFL will be reeling from for quite some time. Let's go to a quick break, and now we'll be back with some more after that.
Being the managing director of an events management business and working with clients like Lady Gaga and Guns N' Roses isn't all rock and roll. There's serious decisions that need to be made. I've got to know what I'm doing. The first place I learnt the power of knowledge was Griffith University. Griffith taught me how to apply what I know to the big picture and the big issues. I know how to find ways to keep the show on the road. Well, guess my job is a bit rock and roll then, isn't it? Griffith University. When you know more, you can do more.
Now we've got some more news headlines from Peter.
Thanks, Cherie. In today's headlines, the Victorian Parliament has introduced new legislation that allows judges to consider suppressing the names of sex offenders. The current law requires judges to only consider the victims. The new law will see that protection of children, families, and community are taken into account. The Coalition has made clear that they are against the full deregulation of wheat exports, and debate continued today. They claim that the federal government has ignored the concerns of the industry. Nauru has been confirmed as an offshore processing location for asylum seekers. It has also been confirmed that people sent to Nauru will have access to training courses and pastoral care provided by the Salvation Army. Another boat of 65 people was intercepted this morning off the West Australian coast. That is the headlines. Back to you guys on the desk.
Thanks for that, Peter. Now, in local news, cigarette smokers have been putting the firing line, with some buildings in Surfers, Main Beach and Broadbeach implementing bylaws to stop people lighting up on their balconies. Panel, what do you guys think about this? Lighting up on your own balcony?
Cigarette smokers, they're just being targeted once again, aren't they? I think they're just being further isolated. There's just becoming less and less places that smokers can actually
We're just going to cut them off, aren't we?
I think we are slowly crossing off the list. We're getting rid of so many places. It's just going to become harder for them to find somewhere to smoke.
But that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. I do think this is a good law trying to come in. When you're on holidays, like a lot of people do come up to Gold Coast to holiday, we do have a lot of hotels, a lot of buildings. When you've got your kids in the room, you're on a lazy Saturday afternoon, watching the TV, might go out later tonight, and you've got cigarette smoke drifting in, it just put you off, and it is very annoying for some people and families, especially with younger kids. And then you also have the fact of when you wake up in the morning, you've got the cigarette butts on your balcony and everything, you've got to clean that up. No one's going to come and pick that up for you. You have to do that yourself, you have to pick it up with your hands. It's just kind of gross.
That is a good point. If you're paying hundreds of dollars a night for this fabulous apartment on the Broadwater or something, and then you've got someone smoking.
I do agree with you guys. I'm against smoking as well. I think it stinks, and but I also think that I don't like what it stands for as far as this trying to ban it. I just think that Australia should remain a free country and people should be able to do what they like. And I think if I was a smoker and I had just paid $1 million for an expensive unit, I'd want to be able to do whatever I wanted to do in that unit, especially after paying that amount of money.
It is a good point. It is still a legal drug, and there's other annoying things that happen on balconies.
There's two sides there that we've brought up, isn't there? There's the side, if you're paying lots of money, you don't want the cigarette smoke, and then on the other side, if you're paying the money and you want to be able to smoke, it just comes down to whether you're a smoker or not. But, I mean, how long does a cigarette take? A couple minutes, shut your windows,
If
shut the
everyone's
doors.
really worried, I think maybe they should just slip a little note in the person's mailbox next door neighbour just to let them know that that's what they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
If, you know,
I
that
mean,
solves
throwing
anything.
cigarette butts off and, you know, that falling into other people's thing, though, that's littering, isn't it? That's a general issue of littering. So it comes down to keeping everything clean.
Yeah,
if you're
I
going to
suppose-
smoke, take responsibility and
If people are going
butt
to be
out.
idiots.
I
Yeah.
do see that.
Nice pun.
It's definitely coming down to smoking is definitely going to be a thing of the past, with more and more of these laws coming in and more places banning it. People just won't have a place to smoke anymore, and I think it's a good thing. Back in the day, we'd be on the panel, we'd all have a cigarette lighting up, and now we're all non-smokers. It's good.
a slow
Well,
move towards
Yeah.
better health.
It'll definitely be interesting, and it's definitely a hot topic. Speaking of hot, summer's definitely on its way. Another cracking day here on the Goldie. Let's cross over to Kira Lee to take a look at what's happening in weather.
Thanks, Cherie. Now a quick look at the weather on the Gold Coast. Today is fine and mostly sunny with light to moderate southeast and northeast winds and temperatures reaching a maximum of 24 degrees. Gold Coasters can look forward to more warm weather for the rest of the week, with temperatures reaching 26 degrees and the days remaining mostly sunny. Temperatures will drop back down to 22 degrees over the weekend, with the chance of possible showers carrying through until Monday. Thanks, guys, and back over to you.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. Thanks for a great show, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook. If you've got a hot topic you would like to see on the show, be sure to let us know about it. Also, if you miss out on an episode, do tune into our YouTube channel where we'll have a series streaming for the last few weeks. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again, same time again next week. With the hot issues, we're Griffith Uni News. Good night.